Hey everyone! Have you ever finished a sketch or line art and thought, why does this look so flat? You got the proportions right, the anatomy is solid, but something's just missing. It doesn't feel like your drawing has volume or dimension. This is actually a very common struggle across the art community. You've probably seen those sketch versus line art memes that are painfully relatable, because honestly, every artist has dealt with this at some point. It's gotten so frustrating for some people that they just given up on line art entirely and started cleaning up their sketches instead, which, you know what? If the art looks good, it looks good. But if you're here because you want to understand why your line art isn't as strong as other artists, I'm going to teach you something that will genuinely help. Not just with line art, but also with your sketching process. It's a technique that has completely transformed how I approach both sketches and line art, and once you understand it, it can seriously level up your art. I'm talking about line weight, specifically how to use it to show form and dimension in your drawings. So, why does line art look flat? First, let's talk about what makes a sketch look flat in the first place. When every line in your drawing is the same thickness, your sketch has no information about depth, volume, or dimension. It's just a flat outline. Our brains see it as a 2D shape on paper, not a 3D form in space. But here's the thing. In the real world, edges don't all look the same. Some edges catch the light and almost disappear. Other edges are in shadow and appear darker and more defined. Line weight let us communicate that information using just lines, so you have to be very mindful about how you're using it. Here's the fundamental rule that will change how you do line art. Use thinner lines where light hits your form, and thicker lines where shadows form or where edges turn away from the light. Think about it logically. When light hits an edge head-on, the edge becomes bright and less defined. It almost fades into the light. So we use a thin, delicate line. But where the form turns away from the light source, that's where we see shadow and definition. That's where we use a heavier line. Just look at this sphere. At the top, where the light is hitting, we have a thin line, almost disappearing. As we move down and around the form, the line gets gradually thicker. And at the very bottom, deep in shadow, that's our heaviest line. We just created the illusion of a three-dimensional sphere using line weight alone. No shading, just the smart use of thick and thin lines. Let me show you how this works on something more complex, like an arm. So the top of the shoulder and the top of the bicep, where light is hitting, that part gets thinner lines. As the arm curves around to the underside, my line weight increases. The underside of the arm, where it's in shadow, gets a heavy line. Notice what's happening here? Even though this is just line art, you can feel the roundness of the form. You understand that this is a cylinder wrapping around in space. You don't have to be perfect with this, even just varying your line weight in a few key places will make a massive difference. Top plane catching light, thin. Bottom plane in shadow, thick. Use that alone will transform your sketches and your line art. I want to talk about some common mistakes you should avoid. The first one is random variation. Don't just randomly vary your line weight for variety's sake. It needs to be intentional, based on your light source. Pick where your light is coming from and be consistent. The second mistake is being too subtle. A lot of beginners are afraid to go bold with their thick lines, but the contrast between your thinnest and thickest lines should be significant. That's what creates impact. The mistake number 3 is forgetting the light source. Before you start varying your line weight, decide where your light is coming from. Top left, top right, front. This decision guides everything, so you have to stay consistent throughout the entire drawing. Let me show you a before and after. Here's a character drawn with uniform line weight. It's not bad, the anatomy is fine, the proportions work, but it looks flat. It looks like a paper cutout. Now here's the exact same drawing with line weight variation based on form and light. Look at that difference. Suddenly this character has volume, has presence. It feels like it exists in a three-dimensional space. It's the same drawing, the same skill level, just a little bit of intentional line weight. So here's your homework. This is honestly one of the most powerful techniques you can add to your drawings, and it takes your liner from flat and lifeless to dynamic and dimensional, and you can start using it immediately. So take a sketch you have already done, something that feels flat, and redraw with this line weight principle in mind. Light areas get thin lines, shadow areas get thick lines. If this helped you, hit the like button and subscribe for more tutorials. I'm really grateful for you watching, and I'll see you in the next one.